All right. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you all. And Sandy, what an awesome testimony. That is super exciting. And I resonate, with your excitement for sure. So Joy, great job tying in all the benefits of Lifewave, and nutrition is my forte. So my name again is Jill Goubeaud with New You Cooking and Consulting. I am a nutritional therapy practitioner. So I help heal people through nutrition and lifestyle. And I got introduced to Lifewave back in the end of 2021. So I'm going to give you guys a condensed version of my patching story, and then we're going to go ahead and focus more on the deep dive. But I do want to tell you more about my story because it ties into what I'm going to be talking about. So let's see. I was vegetarian for 20 years and vegan for 7 years. So I've been committed to living a healthy lifestyle before it was trendy and cool. I have been, eating pretty well for the majority of my life. I've been, so fortunate to grow up on a farm and have access to super fresh food, and learning about gardening and microbiome and all of that awesome stuff. So fast forward, many, many years down the line, I got married at a young age. I'm 39, about to be 40 next month. Was in a relationship from, 18 years old, on. And, through that, situation, it was a pretty toxic relationship. And immediately, got divorced, and immediately got into another relationship. And again, all my baggage followed me to that next relationship because, that's just what happens when you don't handle the situation. So, going through those situations, I got really sick and super stressed, all this, crazy, toxic stuff in my personal life. And then in 2019, I took responsibility for my life. I started doing Landmark Forum and really figured out, who I am, what I'm going to be doing. And that's when New You Cooking and Consulting was born. And through that, I started right before the pandemic happened, and my vision of business had to make a pivot. And so I had to figure out, what I was going to do next. So things were going really good. Business was thriving even through the pandemic. I started a meal prepping business, and people were loving that. The convenience of healthy food delivered right to their doorstep. And, things were going like really, really awesome. Life was great. I was feeling awesome. And then I ended up getting COVID in 2021, and in August of 2021. And it hit me really hard. I never had really gotten sick before. And this really literally like put me in a space of a very, very dark place in my life. What ended up happening is after I recovered from COVID, I had long-term COVID effects. It was detrimental to my personal life, to my business. And I had to relearn, basically like life. And then in October, I started feeling like chronic fatigue. And I'm the type of person where I was, working 12 hours, 14 hours and totally fine, had a lot of energy. So when this chronic fatigue happened, I was like, okay, this is not normal. But kept powering through. And then one day I realized I had thinning hair, like crazy thinning hair, like all in the front. It was like to my scalp. And it was a really scary situation, because I think all the females on this call can relate that our hair is like such a feminine aspect of being a woman. It's our crown. It's our, it's just like a big piece of who we are. And when my hair started falling out, I knew that there was a major situation. And being, in the space of, trying to do everything as natural and holistic as I possibly could, I tried, to do different things. But again, when I felt like every time I was brushing my hair or in the shower, it was just like globs of hair falling out. And I didn't even want to touch my hair because so much was falling out. So I ended up, getting going to a kinesiologist, chiropractor. We did a lot of muscle testing. He ordered blood work, and got the results of that I had Hashimoto's. So in this situation, I had to get really committed to how committed am I to my health. And so I had to address my commitment, because like I had said, I was vegetarian and vegan for a combination of 27 years, and my body stopped responding well to eating that way. And so my doctor just explained to me, you know what, Jill, you could take this prescription medication for the rest of your life. However, this prescription is not going to fix the problem. It's just a Band-Aid. Or we can get to the root of this problem, and you can do the work to put this into remission. A lot of doctors out there will tell you that Hashimoto's is incurable, and that is just simply not true. We can totally cure ourselves of disease and dysfunction in our bodies through the proper nutrition and the proper lifestyle changes. So when I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I was telling my good friend Danielle, and Danielle said, "Oh my gosh, I have something that I want you to try. It's called Lifewave, and it's just this like little Band-Aid thing." And she sent me some videos to watch. I watched it, and I'm desperate. I refuse to take prescription medication because I know that that's not going to solve the problem. So I decide to start Lifewave right away. I changed my diet. After my emotional breakdown in this, situation, I decided, all right, I'm committed. My business is built on being a pillar of empowerment and inspiration and education for other people. So I have to get over the fact of that I don't want to eat meat, but my body is telling me that I need to make major changes in my life. So fast forward, I started doing a lot of research about, well, what are hormones? Like what, I know hormones, but what actually is Hashimoto's? How did this even happen? Why are hormones so important in our bodies, right? So for anyone that is not familiar with what Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition when your immune system is attacking your thyroid. So how does a autoimmune condition happen, specifically Hashimoto's? There are a lot of different factors. And the main factors are going to be past trauma. We actually have a lot of stored trauma, ancestral trauma, that, you know, is passed down generation to generation. Stress, you know, stress is a culprit for a lot of disease. Um, and 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 this is like a major situation. A lot of people don't get diagnosed correctly, and there's a lot of people out there that have dysfunction in their thyroid. So if you are experiencing brain fog, or really cold, mood swings, hair loss, skin conditions, you know, eczema, constipation, I mean, the list goes on. A lot of times it's a thyroid condition. So how do we heal from having this situation happen? Well, one of the main things that we first have to do is, one, reduce the stress. Okay. Two, we need to reduce inflammation. Joy talked about this a little bit in the presentation, that when our body is inflamed, our cells are not able to work properly. So when we are dealing with inflammation, we need to be doing a variety of different things. Okay, so this is a lot of lifestyle things. We need to be, you know, drinking a lot of water. We need to be eating the right food. A lot of times with Hashimoto's, we're eating the wrong types of foods that is increasing the symptoms. So foods like gluten, corn, soy, sugar, nightshade vegetables, which increase inflammation. Nightshade vegetables are peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, and guess what? Unfortunately, all the spices that go along with those categories. So in order to reduce, this is not a lifetime sentence. This is just temporary. Okay, we have to like omit these things from our diet just temporarily in order to reduce this inflammation. So the patches can work, right? So one of the awesome patches that I used in my protocol, I used several of them, but to start off, I was using, of course, the X39, the glutathione. Glutathione is super duper important to help heal and put the Hashimoto's into remission. And Joy, if you can help me out with this fact, that what is the percentage that glutathione, it's like a something, the patch. So, yes, you know what I'm trying to say.
Glutathione actually is a master detoxifier of the body. And so it helps your body to expel the toxins that need to come out of your body that your body isn't able to process in other ways. And the glutathione patch, well, let's start with the X39. The X39 patch actually raises your glutathione level, which is a naturally occurring thing in your body, but it signals your body to actually raise your glutathione level by 30%. And the glutathione patch actually raises your body's glutathione level by 300% over 24 hours. Now, just to put this into perspective, some people take oral glutathione and or have glutathione IVs, especially people who have done chemo and they're trying to get rid of the toxins in their body. They actually will do those, but the half-life of that for oral is 7 minutes, which means after 7 minutes, you have half of its efficacy to try and get more stuff out of your body. And then after another 7 minutes, it's half of that. So the glutathione patch actually raises your glutathione level by 300% for 24 or more hours. And that's just an amazing thing as far as the patches and for helping to support your body to detox. Now, I do recommend that you start slow because you can have Hertzheimer effect if you actually are detoxing your body too fast. And so, you know, starting with the X39 and the Eon patches, and then slowly working in, maybe doing the gut system. And I'll give this back to Jill.
Yes, thank you for that. So yes, so the glutathione is a key ingredient, so to speak, in the remission of Hashimoto. So that's why I was so excited to have this patch that is going to raise the glutathione by 300%, like Joy said. I mean, that is incredible. So the thing is like being consistent, right? So I did these patches for a year solid, and I mean, my hair is up right now, but right now, like my hair has grown back so luxuriously long and thick. So when people compliment my hair, it has so much meaning to me that, my gosh, you don't know what you have until you lose it. And so being in the profession that I am in now, Lifewave is the protocol that I recommend to every single client that I work with because I have personal experience with it. So the other side of that, like I said, being consistent, right? Well, I just wanted to see what would happen if I stopped taking it. And so I did. So I stopped taking the everything for about a year. And what ended up happening is I was experiencing crazy depression, like something that I had never ever experienced mental health in my entire life before. So going to a real dark place and trying to get out of that place. When I also started recognizing that my skin was just not as, like looking as good as it was before. And also I started noticing that my hair started becoming a little bit more like brittle. And I had this aha moment back in January of, well, I guess January of 2024. At the beginning of January 2024, I said I had literally like this epiphany because I was, like I said, I was in a really, really dark place. And just this thought came to me and I said, oh my gosh, Lifewave. That's the major thing that changed in my life as I stopped taking it. Let me get back on it. And so I did. And literally within like 7 days, I felt a shift in my mindset. And I started having the will to and desire to want to go and figure out, what's next for me. So I just want to like get back to, the hormone piece real quick, because I know that we're running out of time in just a couple minutes. So I just want to circle back, just to give everyone out there some inspiration and empowerment that if you are experiencing perimenopause, menopause, an autoimmune condition, these are all things dealing with our hormones, okay? Our hormones are responsible for so much in our bodies. And if they are out of whack, we are going to be driving ourselves nuts. So why not use something that is a product that so many people are benefiting from, and it's a money back guarantee. So if for whatever reason you don't like it, just send it back, right? What's there to lose? But not just that. It's like, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to be a pillar of light and education and empowerment to say, like, just like Sandy, gave her testimony, and Joy gave, information about her testimony. Just saying that, like, I do believe in these patches to regulate your hormones. I've seen it firsthand experience with myself, and I am just so excited, and also feel like a social responsibility to educate, inspire people about these amazing things that are on the market to us. So if anyone, has any more questions about, hormone regulation, or how these patches can really, like, what protocol you should use, get back to Joy or myself, or your person who shared the patches with you, and let's figure out what a great protocol will be to get you and your hormones regulated.
Thank you, Jill. That was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing your knowledge, for sharing your insight. That was great. And I hope that you can come back in the future and actually, do more on a deeper dive on hormones. And I
Definitely.
apologize for there not being as much time with our technical difficulties and different things. I do want to just add, we have another friend, Tracy, who actually normally is on these calls, but she had another event that she was scheduled for. She actually was able to get off her levothyroxine that she'd been on for 15 years for her thyroid function after 4 months of using the patches. And that was not something that she even recognized. Actually, she had gone on the patches originally because her menopause symptoms were so bad that she wasn't able to sleep. She wasn't able to, more than 2 hours. She was actually retiring from her marketing director position at the Washington State Fair because she wasn't able to keep up with the spreadsheet she had created. And she was just having terrible brain fog. And when she started utilizing the patches, that actually changed around for her. But at 4 months along, she started having some of the symptoms come back where she'd have her hot flashes and the sleep problems. And she went to her doctor, who was also using the patches, and said, I don't think these are working for me anymore. And he's like, no, I think they are. Let's get your levels checked. And he did the blood tests. And 3 weeks later, she was off of the levothyroxine she'd been on for 15 years. So it's amazing what our body can do when it's given the information that we've lost to heal itself, because our bodies are meant to heal themselves. And what the patches do is they just signal the body how to actually do what it's intended to do. Anyway, I'm going to open